What is going on, everyone? My name is Mewtwo Fan Nate, and I am your coach of the New York Noibats. It is Season 2, Week number 8 of the P4G. We are going up against my good friend Elliot in the Chicago Cubchoos. Elliot's a really cool dude. Every time I enter his stream, he is very welcoming, friendly. I really urge you guys to go check out his channel and Twitch and stuff. That'll be in the description below for you. So, without further ado, if you guys don't know how I like to do my team builders, pretty much what I do is I will throw up the mons that we have drafted on the screen and then discuss team matchup and then go into the sets. So, as you guys can see, my draft is right over there. We have drafted Typhlosion, Licky, Crobat, Mesprit, Raikou, Hariyama, Blastoise, Tapu Bulu, Mega Scizor, Piloswine, and Hydreigon. So, Elliot, he picked up a team from I don't remember their name, but either way, this team wasn't originally his, and then he made modifications to it. So the team that he has right now consists of Thundurus, Tauros, Cryogonal, Mew, Flygon, Entei, Mega Blastoise, Metagross, Pangoro, Granbull, and Amoonguss. So, pretty much as far as like team matchup of him versus me, I think the main threats consist of kind of like Thundurus, a really offensive Mega Blastoise, I think like a setup Mew is kind of scary, and Metagross, I think he's gonna run it more defensive, but if he catches me off guard with like a really offensive Metagross, then we might be in a little bit of trouble. So as far as like his Mega Blastoise goes, I think he could really run just like Scald, Aura Sphere, maybe Flash Cannon potentially. And then like either that or Ice Beam, depending on whether or not he wants to like how he wants to go about hitting my team. Like if he wants to hit like Tapu Bulu with Flash Cannon, or if he wants to hit it with Ice Beam, because I think Flash Cannon is probably better, because that would hit the combination of like Bulu and then as well as a potential Piloswine. So if depending on what he's fearing in that moment, he might decide what move he decides to put on. Dark Pulse, I think he would definitely put on there for the potential Mesprit. And I think that combination of moves, I mean, depending on which four he goes with, could really put a lot of hurt on my team. I think Metagross is his really one and only true Tapu Bulu switch-in. Amoonguss, is kind of a switch-in. But if I do predict the switch in and I click like something like Zen Headbutt, I could potentially 2-hit KO him, especially after rocks. So that's something to be expected as far as like what he might be bringing. Cryogonal, it might come. I think it would come with either screens, just pretty much supportive, unless it wants to run something offensive. I don't think it will be. I think it would run something like along the lines of like screens, maybe rapid spin, and then like freeze dry or something like that. I don't know if he wants to run any kind of coverage moves on it. I think it also gets recover, so we don't know. It kind of has like a 4 move slot syndrome against me this week if he does want to bring it. But I think the combination of like screens into like setup Mew could be really, really bad for me. Really bad. Thundy Eye, if he wants to bring that, could cause a bit of an issue, whether if it's something along the lines of a taunt set, or if it's like T-Wave, or even if it's just Nasty Plot, because after a Nasty Plot, that thing is scary. I don't really have too much that wants to like outspeed it and kill it. So if I lose like a Scarf Bulu, then I'm like not behind the sub with my Raikou, or if I don't have Calm Minds up, then that could potentially be very hard for me to deal with. Especially if he's like Nasty Plot and then Gigavolt Havoc. That would be really, really hard for me to deal with. I'm not really too worried about his Entei this week, because I do have a Blastoise on the roster, and Blastoise can kind of deal with him, especially like even if he's like banded, like we're not taking that much damage from him. If we get burned on a Sacred Fire, then I'll be kind of upset about it, but I mean, it is 50% chance to burn, so it's definitely something I'll have to expect on a potential switch-in, because that'll wear me down a lot faster. But I think as long as I keep Blastoise at a good amount of health, and I keep Raikou out of extreme speed range, I think I can deal with his Entei fairly well. My Raikou, speaking of Raikou, actually has a really great matchup against his team. He only has one Electric Immunity in Flygon, and the combination of Thunderbolt and Hidden Power Ice kind of just takes care of his entire team. So that's something I'm really happy about. Let me turn on that light. That might help my lighting a little bit. So I think that's going to be, you know, really good against his team. His Stealth Rockers are potentially a Metagross and even Mew. His Hazard Removal is Flygon, Mew, and Mega Blastoise. But I think he's not going to run Rapid Spin on Blastoise because I think he wants all the coverage moves to hit my team. So I think that's what he would go with for this week. Now, as far as my sets go, let me get rid of these. Go, disappear. Okay, so this is probably going to be my lead. Ashley has a pretty good lead matchup, I think, against his, like, almost the entirety of his team. We don't have much special attack investment, but we are Modest Nature with an Expert Belt. The EVs with this plus the item let me 2-hit KO Metagross. This puts a lot of pressure on the beginning of his, like, right from the beginning of the game, being able to, like, Psyshock things like the Cryogonal. Lets me go for Shadow Balls on the Metagross, goes for Shadow Balls on the Mew, Dazzling Gleam to hit the Pangoro potentially. Psyshock also hits the Amoonguss, and I can pretty much just go for Stealth Rocks, almost guaranteed, without really having to worry about it, because he could run like a Taunt Mew and stop me there, but then from there I can just click Shadow Ball and do really nice damage to him. So I think we have a good lead matchup to where I can pretty much always get up rocks, live like any one hit. There's really not much that can knock me out, unless it's like a Z Flare Blitz from like Entei, and that's just something that might blow me back, but it's not like the end of the world. I mean, rocks do help me in this game because, you know, Thundurus will take damage. Entei does not like coming in on rocks. Since Amoonguss has Regenerator, that little bit of chip damage when it comes in is super nice. So I think Ashley right here, between like Stealth Rocks and the coverage moves that we have, will put in a lot of work against the team. Now, the Raikou set right here is pretty much going to, I think it is going to win me this game this week. Subcom Mine, Thunderbolt, and Hidden Power Ice is all that I need. It's super simple, just enough speed to outspeed the Thundurus, because that is the fastest mon that he's drafted. Then we have Thunderbolt, and that hits everything aside from the Flygon and the Amoonguss for super effective damage. And then whatever I don't hit for super effective damage, I hit with Hidden Power Ice. So I can pretty much just sub up on Amoonguss every single time and then click Calm Mind. And for example, if he wants to try to block a potential, like, I just come in and I click sub, like, all the time. Because if he wants to, like, try to predict, like, a potential Thunderbolt and switch out into Flygon, I'm gonna pretty much just get a free sub and then click Hidden Power Ice and do big damage to him. He might try to go for, like, U-turn, break the sub, and then go out into something like maybe the Entei, but then I outspeed him and then I click Thunderbolt. So it's always putting a lot of pressure on his team, no matter what. Especially at the Calm Mind boost, that +1 special attack and +1 special defense, it does so much damage, and we're just gaining health back with our leftovers. It's a super simple set, but I think it's going to be really effective this week. The next mon that we have is our family friendly, the one that's always good with children, our Hydreigon. Dark Pulse, Flamethrower, Dragon Pulse, and U-turn. The safety goggles just means that I can pretty much just switch into Amoonguss Spores without having to worry about getting put to sleep, and then I can either U-turn out if I'm predicting him to switch out into something, and then go for Flamethrower if I just want to go for that damage. Dragon Pulse is just a really nice stab. It does hit a little bit harder than Dark Pulse against things like the like Mega Blastoise. So I do want to have that on there. It also does more damage to things like the Pangoro. So I'm gonna be bringing the Dragon Pulse this week Base 85, a little bit more damage than the base 80 Dark Pulse. So it's pretty much very simple, like just enough speed to outspeed like a max speed Blastoise, because that's like the one thing that I don't outspeed. And then we have just a lot of bulk and a lot of special attack. Very simple, but I think again very effective. The next mon that I have is Socks Off, our Blastoise, Mirror Coat, Scald, Dragon Tail, and Rapid Spin. I was thinking about originally putting Ice Beam over Dragon Tail, but it just doesn't do that much damage to Amoonguss anyway, so I was just like, let's just decide, let's just potentially, you know, let things take more Stealth Rocks damage as they come in, phase things out that might want to set up. So we can always Scald things with burns. This is pretty much just going to be a really decent check to potential make a Blastoise. If it wants to just hit me with like a Dark Pulse or an Aura Sphere or something like that, I'll tank one hit because I'm Assault Vest, and then I can just fire off a Mirror Coat and get massive damage back on that thing. So that's always nice for me. Rapid Spin, like I said, just get rid of his hazards. Very, very, very super simple, but I think again very effective. Now, this week we are going to have our Bulu Bow is going to be rocking a Choice Scarf set with Wood Hammer, Horn Leech, Zen Headbutt, and Brutal Swing. Hopefully Bulu is liking the Scarf. Last time we ran a Scarfed Bulu, we missed a crucial Stone Edge on an Arcanine. But, you know, it's not like, maybe, I don't know, maybe he's just not feeling the fashion sense behind it. We don't know. But I'm forcing him to wear it this week because we want to outspeed everything and just hit super hard. Now, he does have a couple checks to this, being the Metagross, and the Amoonguss, but Amoonguss, like I said in the beginning, is kind of a check because if I'm just locked into Wood Hammer, he can come in on it. But if I am predicting him to go into it and I click Zen Headbutt, then we're looking pretty good because then I can potentially 2-hit KO, especially after rocks. Brutal Swing is kind of just a filler move because I don't really have anything else to put on there. I could potentially put on like a Nature's Madness or something along those lines, but it's just like I don't like the fact that it can't potentially like it won't ever get 2-hit KOs or anything. Like it won't ever kill anything. It's just good for the damage, and I don't want to scarf myself into something that won't get kills. So I can't force. I don't see me doing that. So Brutal Swing, it will do a little bit less than Wood Hammer on Metagross, but I won't take any recoil damage. So that's kind of the only reason I'm bringing it. I don't think I will be clicking it in the game, but we don't know. We don't know how I'll feel about the situation. If we're in a situation where I am at low health and I'm like, I just need a little bit of damage on the Metagross, and I don't want to knock myself out to recoil, then I'll just click Brutal Swing. If I'm like, let me get a free switch into something and get some damage off, I'll go for Wood Hammer, knock myself out, and get like the 2% more damage that Wood Hammer would do aside from Brutal Swing. So I think that will be the way that I'm going about this set and during the game. Now the final mon that I have is Catch These Hands, the Hariyama. So pretty much this set is just going to be a check to the Thundurus because he can't really touch me with many special hits because of the amount of bulk that I have on this thing. I didn't want to run like max Spadef with the Assault Vest because if I don't have like the HP investment, then I can potentially get knocked out by a Granbull Play Rough or a Mew Psyshock, which I think are the most likely moves that he could try to kill me with. So I think that would be the way that I go about doing it. The close combat, it's just a really powerful stab, especially because I'm like max attack adamant, and it blows back so many things. Like Mega Blastoise doesn't want to take the hit. It can take one because it's bulky, but obviously if I weaken it enough to where I can knock it out. But I don't plan on using Hariyama to get like knockouts or anything like that. I wanted to just sponge hits, put pressure on his team, force things to switch out, take rocks damage, potentially eat a hit, knock off an item. That's really what Hariyama's going to be doing this week. just sponging hits, getting a little bit of damage, putting things in range for Scarf Bulu, and then potentially the Raikou. So I think that's going to be the team that I have for this week. Now, if you guys are excited, if you guys enjoyed this team builder, make sure to show your love on the like button. Put hashtag New York Noibats in the comment section for this video if you are ready. I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace out.